Here at Howard University, we were taught one simple idea. The law is a weapon if you know how to use it.
I think what the most exciting thing I can say is live theater is back. Sarah Clare, this has got to be an amazing feeling, really.
It is an amazing feeling. It's a little bit surreal to know that we're back and kind of get back in the swing of things and then greet our audiences. But boy, that first night welcoming people back was so incredibly special, and every night after.
Steve, the theater nourishes all of our souls, and to be able to experience it in a community setting has got to be wonderful for you to step back in as a director.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? To get the opportunity, especially the year that we've been through, to get the opportunity and with community gather together and tell stories in such a story. And so it's a pleasure to get back and do theater, and not only just theater, but Thurgood specifically.
All right, we're going to talk about the show, but Sarah Clare, walk me through what some of the decision making was to be able to do this and do it out in a live setting outside.
There's just like a lot of investigating about where people are comfortable, what our unions are saying, what the guidelines are saying. And it's a lot of juggling and a lot of people being flexible and nimble to pivot. And then we were able to make this decision to transfer this show from Chautauqua Theater Company to Detroit pretty quickly with a homegrown Detroit artist, Brian Marable, who is phenomenal. You've seen him across Detroit on many stages for many years, but be able to sort of bring that back, to partner with Midtown Detroit Inc. on this beautiful venue outside so we all feel safe and taken care of. The weather is just right. And so just nimble.
Oh yes, constantly changing. Steve, talk to me about the show. It's a one-man show, which is so difficult for an artist and an actor to be able to carry that energy through, but really the subject matter of Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American US Supreme Court Justice, and being able to tell that story. Talk me through some of the decisions that you had to make through the direction process and really bringing this to life here in Detroit.
Growing up in school, I have to admit, I had very minimal education about Thurgood. I knew he was on the Supreme Court, and I think that was the extent of my knowledge that I gained. So being able to go back and understanding him really being Mr. Godfather of civil rights, and how the law was the weapon that he used to change things, it was very important. So it was a lot of research, which I love to do, and I have such more admiration for Thurgood now. And it was a pleasure as well to get this information out to people who may not have known as much as him as I think we should.
Real quick on that, Steve is such an amazing inspiration, by the way, and having him in the room and in the city, being able to bring him to Detroit, this is not the first time we've brought him. He just brings joy, compassion, humility, and just a great love of the art. And to bring him on this ground is important for DPT and for this city to have him here.
You know, Steve, when I sit and I watch a theater production, I always get this feeling of with the first line of the show. It's emotional. I tear up, and it doesn't matter what show it is. It's just being present, I think, in the moment when you hear those first lines and that energy of that. What's it going to be? Is there a moment in the show? Is there a line, something that you can bring to us that really has that moment for you?
I keep a lot of lines. At the top of the line, I think the law is a weapon if you know how to use it. And he says that it is, it takes place at his alma mater at Howard University. And he's basically giving a lecture to a group of students, a group of people who've come to see him toward the end of his career. And he is really educating that we have the power. He's basically passing the baton and saying we too can push forward change.
You know what? I learned something from Langston. One person can make a difference.
And we get to see him as a human being, not just a statue, not just a historical photo, but we get to see the man who had fears, had insecurities, but at the same time was able to do something great. And that's what I would like people to leave away with. And he should inspire us that we also can do something great.
What is the next step for DPT?
We are moving into a brand new space really soon in 2022. We have more programming coming up this year that we'll be announcing soon, and then a full season in 22-23 in our brand new home where we are so excited to welcome all of Detroiters.
And Steve, I'm going to give you the last word. What would you say that we should look forward to?
Look forward to more stories, more diverse stories. I think we cannot go back. I think learning from this year, our humanity, that's one thing I think COVID did, was bring us together in all, class, race, gender. All of us were affected. And so I say moving forward, we're moving forward to a new theater that is inclusive, that tells all of our stories and unites us together. So I look forward to that. And I would tell people to look for it and tell your story. It too is important.
It doesn't get better, but in the power of reflecting people and their audience and their stories is just what you talked about, growing more and more and helping people understand so much better where we are in the world and taking the blinders off. I salute both of you and thank you so much for the time. And we're very excited for this.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you very much.
At 5 o'clock, June 25th, 1935, we're called back into the courtroom. Judge Eugene O'Dunn slams his gavel down and orders the University of Maryland to admit Donald Gaines Murray into its law school. You see, Charlie Houston was right. The law is a weapon.